Hello and welcome to the Enquiry podcast. My name is Nerida Mills. I am your host, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you along for this episode. What we do in the Enquiry podcast is really explore and inquire with experts in their field in regards to what it is that actually creates the human experience, and more importantly, what it is that we can use to influence the human experience for our own development, growth, and expansion. So welcome along. Let's dive in, and I hope you enjoy. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Enquiry podcast. I am very excited to have Kate with me today to have a little bit of a chin wag about some stuff that I find quite fascinating in regards to what it is that you're doing, and I think the listeners will as well. So why don't we start? Introduce yourself to everybody. What do you do? Who are you? And we can take it from there.
Okay. So I'm Kate Biondo. I am the cooperative coordinator or CEO, which it doesn't sit well with me to call myself CEO, but that's essentially what I am. And that is for Galactic Cooperative. Galactic Cooperative has two main businesses. Galactic Scientific, which is service and repair of scientific equipment in laboratories throughout WA. We do some work over East as well. The other part of our business is Galactic Sustainability, and that's headed up by Dr. Kate Ringvold. And that is helping small, medium businesses be aware with their sustainability accounting. So that's it in a nutshell. So.
Amazing. Very, very cool. So obviously we've known each other for quite a number of years now, and I've had the privilege to be able to have a little bit of back-end insight into how you structure business and how it's different to other styles of business structure. Can you explain for people who maybe have never heard of a cooperative before, what is the difference between a normal business structure and a cooperative? And why have you guys decided to go down that path?
Okay. So we're a cooperative mostly because it's already set up as a business model that's very non-hierarchical, and we really liked that. We went from being a sole trader to a cooperative, meaning that we could expand and that our employees could become co-workers. So people who are employed by the cooperative can become members and directors and part owners is what essentially it brings it down to, of the cooperative. All cooperatives abide by the same 7 principles. So a big cooperative that maybe people have heard of is CBH, is Cooperative Bulk Handling, which is that's a farmer-owned cooperative. And that's one of the biggest businesses in WA. And I don't think people call, it's CBH, and that's the end of it. You know, they don't realise that the C actually means it's a cooperative. The 7, yes, and we all abide by the 7 principles. That also covers mutuals as well, and a lot of mutuals are, again, people don't understand that they're part of a mutual necessarily. RAC is a mutual, HBF is a mutual, a lot of banks are mutuals. It just means that the members have a share and a say in what happens to the business as a whole. So we're a worker-owned cooperative. So that just means that the people who work in the business are part of the business, part owners of the business.
Yeah. What was it for you that really kind of, I guess, pushed the decision to go down this path? I mean, I know it's kind of innately in your value set, but could you explain that a little bit more for everybody?
Well, it was mostly my partner, Andre, who discovered cooperatives as being a model that he would really like to follow. And that was, goodness, we were talking back in like 2014, 2015. And for him, it was, he didn't want to stay the sole trader. He could see that the business was getting bigger, that we needed to do something to support us growing. And that non-hierarchical system really appealed to him, in that it takes away the some of the responsibility, but also the where do I put it? It's like he didn't want to be the person up front leading the whole thing. He wanted people to come and join in because they wanted to be part of what the business was doing.
Mm.
So anyway, when he showed me what cooperatives were about, and so we started getting involved with Co-ops WA, which is the peak body here in WA. We got a bigger understanding of what cooperatives were, and then we needed to find other directors that would come in to the cooperative with us and share that responsibility. So you're sharing risk, but you're also sharing bounty. You're sharing, that if you're together with people who have got similar values, that you can all make this work really well. Yes, there is still risk. Any company, any business has risk. So I don't see it as being any different to any other business in that way. It also meant that we weren't the main shareholders, that the employees of our bigger business are not just making us fat cats. It was about sharing in sharing in the risk, but also sharing that when there are good times and there's bonuses, there's distributions that can be made from the co-op.
Yeah.
Which seemed fair. It just seemed more fair.
Yeah, fair enough. It's interesting because human dynamics is something that I'm quite fascinated about, because my own experience of doing things collectively with other people and having that shared kind of equity, etc. And I know that there's our idealistic version of what that's supposed to look like, and then there's the reality of how it actually plays out. So what have been some of the biggest challenges for you in implementing this? I mean, obviously, whilst it is a business framework that is not like completely unknown, it is still the minority, really, in regards to a lot of businesses. So, individuals coming in would have a little bit of adaptation that would be required in order to meet the different frameworks. So what are some of the things that you've come up against, and how have you overcome them?
Being in business now for 9 years in Galactic Cooperative, it's been interesting to see how just workplace health and well-being has become more prominent. And that companies are doing a lot of things to make sure, putting aside what happened with COVID, even before COVID, there was still, trying to find ways of making sure that your employees are well. And being a cooperative, I just feel like it's just natural. It's just part of being a cooperative. That's what you do. So I just feel like there's these things that have been in cooperatives for so long, since 1844, that it's about the well-being of the people, and seeing that sort of coming through with companies recognizing that you got to look after your people, otherwise you don't get anywhere in business. So I feel that element is innate in cooperatives. In WA, you have to have 5 directors, and we call ourselves governing fellows. So 5 governing fellows. That means you've got to find 5 people who all share the values and all have the passion for setting up this business as a cooperative. And that from the beginning, that was tricky. And so there was myself, Andre, and my friend Kate Ringvol. That was easy, sort of getting us all on board. Then we did find 2 others, and look, they certainly worked with us. And Adam Binks was another person who's an accountant, and so he was very key, but he wasn't interested at the time in being a governing fellow. But he was very supportive of the idea and very helpful for us to become a cooperative. So was Co-ops WA. But the two other people, they lasted for a little while and then fell away. And so we had to adjust things. You have to find more people to come in. So just finding that values matching and employing people. So just for any business, going through interviews and finding your people is such a key element, and it's really hard.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I can imagine as well, like with a cooperative, because you are really, inviting people who may be traditionally used to being seen as the employee into a role where they can have the potential to be seen as a leader, right? And
Yeah.
really take on a lot more responsibility. And
And that can be really scary for people.
totally,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
And our education system isn't really geared to creating leaders, it's geared to creating workers. So it's, I imagine it would be a really big stretch for a lot of people. It's nearly like you're looking for entrepreneurs who are willing to step into an employee role for a moment.
yes, yeah. So, I mean, as we've grown, we now have we have four governing fellows. It's Adam Banks, Kate Ringwell, myself, and Andre Biondo. And we have an independent director as well, Karen Taylor. And so that's satisfying everything now. But since going away to England and talking with some worker-owned cooperatives in England, I've because that whole employee and the way that co-ops are set up in Australia, we're still finding it's hard work, and it's like, does it really need to be this hard? So I went to a conference in March over at East, went to the Co-op Fed for Congress. So that's Co-op Federation is the peak body for New South Wales. And that was great. I met some worker-owned co-ops and talked a lot there. We're the only worker-owned one here in WA. So even though they're there over East, it's still really hard. Again, it's like another barrier. I know that's only 2 hours and sometimes it's 3 hours between us, and just not quite the same as having them around you in the same state. So, I managed to get lots of information there, and it just started me wondering if the co-op model is really, it's just really questioning, do we stick with this? So when I went to the UK Co-op Congress, that was my main thing, is like connecting with other worker-owned co-ops and just seeing what their struggles have been, and very similar struggles. Just it was very similar. And so coming back after that and talking with everybody again about, okay, so we either change our structure, we can still be employee owned, we can still be we can be a social enterprise, we can be, there's all these things we can be as a company, but do we turn our back on being a worker-owned cooperative? And we're not prepared to turn our back yet. We're still dedicated at the moment to being a worker-owned cooperative. So we've, well, I suppose specifically me, really drawn attention to some of the barriers that I think we really have, and that we need to get rid of those barriers to be able to get more members and more people involved. So that's where we're at now, is we have to restructure our it's called our member value proposition. So we have to restructure that. And I'm hoping that that's going to help take a lot of our employees up another understanding sort of level. And the other thing that really really struck me in England is that a lot of the worker-owned co-ops that I was connecting with, they're so political, and there's, I mean, people are political. Right?
I was going to say, it's kind of funny because the idea of co-op, I suppose, is about changing that system, right, and bringing it into more equality or equity, and then to have that politics kind of get in the way of the experience in and of itself, because we're humans and can't help ourselves.
Yeah. So I feel like I I have been a lot more political in my younger life than I am now. Although being part of a worker-owned cooperative for me is still political. I know that some people say, "Oh no, I'm not. I don't enjoy politics. I don't want to, be part of politics or whatever." But if you're a person, you are, just by saying that you don't want to be involved in politics, you're being political. So there was a lot of inspiration there in England that I picked up on, that I would love to. But there's a Labour Party in England called the Cooperative Party. Like it's and they're getting votes, like it's so we don't have that here in Australia. And I'm not saying that I'm going to start doing a cooperative party, but I think it just needs more education. Just more education within our own co-op, but there needs also to be a push outside of that as well. I mean, it drives me crazy that you speak with accountants and they've never heard of a co-op. And it's like, well, you would have done it in your studies. I know it would have been brief, but it serves a higher purpose within our community now than ever before, because of the social connection that you have. So having a co-op for your business is, I feel like it's going to come back into vogue.
What's that purpose? So you say it serves a higher purpose. What is the purpose as you see it that co-ops serve?
Well, I suppose it goes to those 7 principles. It's like it's one share, one vote. So it's everybody has a right to vote on those big decisions. The autonomy that it gives you. So it's we constantly try to make sure our people are doing things that they really love doing. If you're not passionate about what you're doing, then you're not going to be there for it. You're not going to help it grow. So that's another part of it. Cooperatives helping other cooperatives is another principle. They've all disappeared out of my brain now that I'm talking about them. I just feel like that it's the purpose is helping each other within the business. We're going to make the business better by knowing that we've got each other's back, and where we see places we can grow, that we talk about it and we discuss what we're going to do. It's not just left up to 1 or 2 core people to make decisions. We still have strategy meetings. We still have a vision, a 10-year vision. We know there are things we would like to achieve in those 10 years, but unless everybody comes along, it's not going to get achieved. So it's about bringing everybody else along. And I think that's what a lot of companies are doing now. They're making sure that their employees know their vision, know their purpose, and they're trying to bring everybody along. So I don't know how well it's working, but
well, it's interesting. I was just thinking, because like staff retention obviously is a massive cost to business, and so is staff well-being. If you've got sick days, mental health days, etc., etc. So, is there much study around the difference in those metrics for a co-op versus like a standard company?
Yeah, it was interesting. We've been part of a study that's just been done. I can send you it's a draft. I don't know if I'm allowed to send it to you, but anyway, it was fascinating just looking through. So her name is Amber Van Ulrich. She's part of her PhD is, and I can't remember exactly what her PhD was on, but she's helping write the history of quite a lot of cooperatives in Western Australia. And I put my hand up. I said, look, I know we're only young, but it would be lovely to have our history written somewhere. Is it something that she's interested in? And she was. So she's done interviews with us, and she's, um, looked at all of our AGM reports and things, and she's put this document together. And I was just blown away by all of the citations that she brings into the document, quoting from different other people that have done studies around cooperatives, and saying how even modern day worker-owned cooperatives are still struggle with some of the same core things about finding the right people. And it was really, really fascinating. And just seeing all the highlights of our years, like she really pulled together all these things that we've done. I was like, wow, yes, we did that. And yes, we did that.
Yeah. It would be so interesting, I suppose, because like even though I'm sure it's a challenge to still find the right people, but once you find the right people, there's so much more incentive for them to stay.
Yes, well, for lots of different reasons, people still leave,
Yeah.
and it's not always because we're a cooperative. So like scared away. It's lots of reasons happen, but yeah, it's that long term engagement. I mean, we have we have a few that are here, and with the change in our MVP that we're going to do, I can see how that's going to change things, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. And if it all fails, I have a backup plan.
And then right?
Exactly.
We don't know until we dive head first.
That's right. That's
That's
right.
really cool. I love speaking to people who are doing life differently, to the status quo, and who are choosing a different path, and noticing some of the same challenges, and also some of the different challenges. Because it's interesting. It's like, I think a lot of people, before stepping out into a path like what you've done, are afraid of certain outcomes that are
Yeah.
probably inevitable, whether you go down this path or you go down the traditional path. You're still probably going to
I,
meet challenge.
I wonder, because when Andre was looking into this way back, one of the statistics that he came up with was companies. If you set up a company, very often they've gone by the time they get to their third year, and hardly any make it to 10 years.
Yeah.
So for him, it was like, but cooperatives, apart from family businesses are very long. There's a lot of examples of family businesses that are very long lived. But cooperatives is the second one. Setting up a cooperative is a long lived business. I just wonder if it comes down to a mindset that, cooperatives are long lived, full stop. So we'll start a cooperative and we'll make it work. There's no, yeah, I wonder if that has an element
It
to
probably would have an element. I reckon as well, the distribution of leadership would have a really big part to play in that. The fact that you've got so many people all driving it forward. Like I know for myself, I'm still classified as a sole trader. And, when you're having those hard weeks or hard months or, hard days or whatever, you are the person that has to pick yourself up and keep on going and refocus yourself. Whereas just by the very nature of the structure of a cooperative, you have that leadership team, and you can really bounce off each other in a different kind of way. So very interesting.
Yeah. So I think certainly Andre definitely has the main driving force, and because of his dedication to that, he's. I know when I started saying, maybe this isn't the right platform that we should be using.
Yeah.
He took it well.
I'm starting to shake in the corner, Andre. Yeah.
He took it well. He took it
Yeah.
well. And so he's open to that changing.
Yeah.
I think he's very pleased that I have come back from my research excursion, feeling a lot more energized about it. So we'll wait and see. And certainly he would love, of course he would, I would love to see, that the people that we employ and carry the Galactic Cooperative forward, that it will still be around in 50 years. That would be awesome. I probably won't know about it, but
But there is that legacy potential then as well, isn't there?
There is, and that succession, like the cooperative model lends itself really well to having that succession happening within the business, which I think is great. Yeah,
I love that. What are you most proud of?
Oh, well, a recent win is that we're moving premises, and the whole thought of moving has been totally overwhelming. But I have found a place. I'm really happy with it. I think it's great. And I am so pleased that I've got other people that I can go, I need you to do this bit. I need you to do that bit. It's not just up to me. Yeah. And I think when we started looking to move, which was about a year ago that we thought we should start looking, I was finding the whole thing really, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how. Yeah. And so the support that I've got has just been great. So that's definitely a lovely win. We've had, I love the word pivot. We have pivoted so well. I think we've got a lot of wins over our years where we have just pivoted to what's needed. So there's a wonderful word, bricolage.
Okay.
Bricolage, yeah. Bricolage means using what you have available at the time, and I think that suits us really well, especially because we do a lot of repair. And sometimes you don't have what you really need to hand. So maybe you make it, or you find a way around it, a way around the problem. And that bricolage is great. So that goes along with our pivoting as well. So through COVID, through seeing opportunities come our way and going, okay, well, if we want to go for that, is there something we need to leave behind and move forward to that? Or can we do it all? Or and I think we've made some really good decisions over our years. We've made bad ones too, but we're talking about wins.
Yep. Still human beings. I love it. Yeah.
Yes.
How do you feel like the cooperative structure and business can support us as a society moving forward? It's a big question.
One thing that was really annoying with when COVID happened was there was a lot of talk about going back to normal, and I hated it. It's like, why do we need to go back to normal?
Yeah, normal wasn't working so well.
Yeah, I know. So finding these disruptions that happen, and COVID was a brilliant one, just to find ways of doing things differently. I think some things did come out of that. So more, working from home and was certainly seen as more acceptable. And I think that's what co-ops can do, is do business differently. And there's a big push for that, it seems, at the moment. So the United Nations this year was the year of cooperatives, and that was part of their advertising. It's like there's just so much that co-ops can do, and when we're looking for that social involvement, it fits so well. And there's so many different ways you can set up a cooperative. It's not like it has to be. It can be a not-for-profit. It can be distributing. It can be non-distributing. It can be a farmer cooperative. It can be a retail cooperative. It can be a worker-owned cooperative. It's just there's so many different models within being a cooperative. And it's all about being local, looking after your people, but also looking after your customers. So I just see so much scope, for it to be used. And it still comes down to education. It needs to be, and there's peak bodies within the state, but within federally as well, who are trying to change a lot of this. A school could be a cooperative. Getting the education in there, though, just getting it in the curriculum to say that, yes, there are different ways of setting up business, it needs to be in there. And it's really bypassed a lot. It's awful. But it's a known thing. It's a known thing, and I know that people are trying to change it. So
slowly. We're talking about big problems right now, right?
I know. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I love the work you guys do, and I take my hat off to you working with the team of engineers as well. With all of that, and navigating the human dynamics. I think you really lead the way in your organisation for doing that, which I think would probably be one of the most important roles in a cooperative, is to kind of help to navigate that space. So thank you so much for doing that. I ask everyone who comes onto my podcast a final question, and that is, for anyone who steps into a space of leadership in any capacity, one of the things that we have to embrace in that leadership role is an ability to allow ourselves to be seen, because more people are going to have eyes on. And I'm curious around your own journey in that, around moving into that leadership role and allowing yourself to be seen in the face of your own stories, other people's stories, all of that sort of stuff. What was your journey in that, and what was the most important thing for you in order to really step into leadership?
So you saying, because I work with a whole pile of engineers, I'm a lot more extroverted than nearly all of them. And so there's a few different, I've really enjoyed being part of the Adapt by Design. Part of that is doing check-ins or outcome conversations, or there's a lot of different words around having that face-to-face, one-on-one talk that covers work, but also covers home life. It's just getting to know one-on-one that person. I think that works really well with all the engineers. I really love team building stuff as well. And so I think they're very aware that I'm quite different to them, which is, there we go, that's what it's like. And that I probably overshare, but they all take it really well. And I know, like, through speaking about life experience, it's got a special phrase. Anyway, it was about ambiguous grief. And I went to a workshop. It was 5 days going over. And for me, something that hugely affected me was ambiguous grief. And working out what I wanted to say about that, and then speaking about that in front of a whole pile of people was really good. I really enjoyed that. It was really quite cathartic. And then I also made sure that when I came back into the workplace, that I made everybody sit down and listen to me about that as well. And it was just very interesting that, I mean, even after speaking to them all about my experience, they're all sort of very quiet and not very engaging. That's okay. It took a little while, and then you just hear little snippets come back. And that's like, I might hear one of the guys talking, like we might be in a more networking sort of session, or and just hearing little things about, oh yeah, Kate does this, or Kate does that, or Kate's been really good at doing this or that. So I feel like, even though I approach life a bit differently, it's nice to hear that it's appreciated. Yeah.
It also
So
sounds like whilst you approach life differently to who you surround yourself with predominantly, when you're sharing yourself, what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is that you share yourself knowing that they're different and being okay in the difference and not
yes,
expecting them to meet you where you're at, but
yes,
allowing them to be themselves, which I think is that, I mean, that in and of itself is a skill, right? A lot of people struggle with that.
I try to do that.
Yeah. We'll just put it under the consistently banner. Consistently, I nail it. Consistently. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I think there's a. I just don't. Some of the people that I'm working with just would not be so outward about some of the stuff that's happening for them.
Yeah.
And I feel, for me, in the way that I want to lead, I need. Is it just me who needs that? I don't know. But that people knowing where other people are coming from, or that that you have the when we sit and have a meeting, we always go around in a circle and talk about I, we, and it. So we talk about us first, we as a team, and then it as the whole organization. And people are they're it's similar to a check-in to I'm sure that I've done it with you, just talking about your feelings and where you're at before, as you're coming into a meeting. So it's just, we all know if someone's going to be a bit distracted or not. But it's almost like it takes that away as well. Like, because you've spoken about it and everybody agreed, it then sort of is not so impactful.
Yeah, it doesn't have to inform what's to come next.
Yeah. So that's really good. And I know people have struggled a bit with that doing that I, we, it, but we've really been very strong on it. Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing so openly. It's such an interesting one. I am a lover of business. I think business is an incredible avenue for people to create anything that they really want. And it's nice to explore and share around different ways of being able to do that, right? It's not always just the traditional sense of business, and there are so many other options. So, a lot of my listeners are either in business or wanting to get into business as well. So, hopefully this session gives them a little bit of something to think about in regards to how they might want to structure that and what they actually want to create ultimately at the end of the day through business as well. Is there somewhere that people can get in touch with you, follow you, find out more about what you guys do?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're on LinkedIn and we have a website. So Galactic Cooperative or Galactic Scientific. You can look it up on LinkedIn. But yeah, I'm happy to be contacted. I don't know if you normally where do you normally, this goes out on LinkedIn, or is it a separate?
It goes out on like your Spotify and things like that. So I can put if people contact you through the website, that's probably the safest bit of information to put out there. We can do that. We can certainly share your website with people. And then, if anybody wants to have a chat with Kate more about anything that we've discussed today, then you can just say attention.
Yes. Yes.
Amazing. All right, gorgeous. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you and appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you, Mary.
Okay, that is it from us for today for the Enquiry podcast. All of the links that you're going to want to find is going to be underneath this episode. So jump along and make sure that you're following the people who do join us for the Enquiry podcast. I'm sure you'll agree they are absolutely phenomenal, and it is my absolute pleasure to be able to have them come in and share their wisdom with everybody. If you're wanting to know what I'm up to, jump onto my website, neridamills.com, and you can check out all of my opportunities to get involved, be they free things or programs or events. You can always come along and say hi. I would love to see you.